I'm about to share with you my memory treasures. It would be nice if I had a treasure chest full of gold, diamonds, rubies, pearls, emeralds, and other valuable things that I could share with you all. What I'm about to share with you are more precious to me than all those jewels and treasures that I just mentioned. I can't truly convey how precious those things are to me because I can only begin to share what I actually experienced. I know that often people who talk about things they've been able to do and see are regarded as braggarts. I can understand that feeling because before I was blessed and privileged to see and do what I did with my family, I sometimes felt that way when others told me about their adventurous experiences. I was jealous. Since that, I've now had these experiences. I realize that it's just that I'm so excited to share my special adventures with others. I just need to realize that my excitement might be seen as bragging, and I need to stop sharing when that happens. I have been blessed and privileged to do the following. The LDS mission in the Philippines, I really gained a testimony there. I was able to ride water buffalo or a carabao. That was cool. Rode around in jeepneys. That was a lot of fun. Tropical fruits there were amazing and good. I learned how to eat sugar cane. You chew it up, get the juice out, and spit the pulp out. The Philippines lives on rice and fish. Yum. We moved to Brussels, Belgium in 1979, and that was a base for seeing and doing a lot of things. On one trip, we went skiing in Austria, and we skied from Austria to Germany. We had to carry our passports in case we were stopped by the authorities. We heard about Keukenhof in the Netherlands. We went there and were amazed. Switzerland many times, and this is Lauterbrunnen, one of our favorite canyons. On a train ride in a salt mine in Salzburg. Took a 300-foot long slippery slide ride while there. We went up to Hitler's Eagle's Nest up in a high mountain in Austria. Of course, we went to Paris and we saw the Eiffel Tower, among many other things. Paris was only about 3.5 hours away from us, so we went to the Louvre many times. We went to Champs-Élysées, we saw the Arc de Triomphe and drove around Place de l'Étoile, around the Arc. We saw Mont Saint-Michel, walked up it to the top. It was amazing. Versailles was on our list. Never seen anything like that before. We saw Chateau Chambord, one of the many chateaux in the Loire Valley. On one trip we went to Denmark, we saw Copenhagen, and then we saw the castle Elsinore, which was part of one of Shakespeare's plays. It was awesome. We had to see Neuschwanstein, one of Crazy Ludwig II's castles. From 1985 through 1988, we lived in Hong Kong. That was a base of operations for more. Marcy could only reach the button for the 10th floor. She had to walk to the last 2 floors by herself. We were blessed with a lot of visitors in Hong Kong, including my mom, who was here with Maxine. Grandpa Fenstermaker decided to become a rickshaw driver with the kids back. Grandma was trying to take in all the meat hanging here in this meat shop. Grandma and Grandpa Fenstermaker really enjoyed Hong Kong. Here we are with Kathy waiting to go to the Jumbo restaurant. Here they are, the twins on the way to the Jumbo. Family to the Philippines, so we were able to see the doramas. Next, you're going to see kids climbing up coconut trees. That was a fun thing for the kids at our age to be able to do. The next thing coming up is riding carabao. And It's always fun to get on the back of one of these big animals. They're actually quite gentle. Here's another one. This was in Mindoro Island. Next is a jeepney in Mindoro Island. This looks like a jeepney that has gotten a lot of use. It's not as pretty as some of the others. But the amazing thing was snorkeling. This is brain coral off of this where we stayed in Mindoro. This is actually me snorkeling and just looking around. And here's one of Mike coming up snorkeling. And that was awesome. We went to Malaysia. We saw the amazing leatherback turtles. They weigh 1,000 pounds or more. This is a female laying eggs on the beach at Tanjung Jara. We then went to the northern part of Malaysia, actually Penang, and flew in the air. Then we went to Bangkok, Thailand, and we saw amazing things there. The next one is Mark playing in a lily pond. The next one coming up is when we went to Rose Garden and rode elephants. The kids had a great time there, I think. This one is Marcy on a little elephant. She looks a little scared to me. And then we got Marcy and Mark in a tour bus. The next one is Jason and Mark looking at an elephant. They're both looking with a little bit of trepidation. Then we got Mike and Mark on the top of a larger elephant. So they had a lot of fun at that Rose Garden. And then the next one is them again by mistake. We also saw the Golden Buddha. We saw the Emerald Buddha. We also saw the Reclining Buddha. That's just the head of the Reclining Buddha. It's huge. And this is the total side of the Reclining Buddha. Really something else. We then went to the snake show. Jen got used to this python and Mike was a little questionable. Then Mike got real friendly with it. Put it around his neck. That was a cool shot. Then we saw, at one point went to a restaurant and had watched them make roti, which is a thin bread. We had an adventure on these little tuk-tuks, one going up and down over canals, 2 tuk-tuks at a time trying to outdo each other. Wow. Then we went to the floating market. That was so cool because you can see all the activity there and then you can go in these little shops there. Finally, we went to Guilin, China. This was a Li River trip, an amazing trip. We saw, this is Mike and Jen with the Chinese hats on. This is a picture of Jen there with the scenery in the background. Another one coming up is Mark and Marcy and the guy taking videos. That was really a cool place. Another one of Mark, real nice smile for him. The big things in the background are called karst. They're limestone karst. That's our sweet little Marcy. She was such a wonderful little girl at that point, and still is a wonderful lady now. And then this is Mike. What a nice smile from Mike there. And then finally we saw people working in the rice fields, doing, I don't know exactly what they were doing, but that was it. We went the other way from Hong Kong and stopped off in Athens. I think this is looking over Athens. I'm not 100% certain. We then went from Athens to Jerusalem, and we saw and did a lot of wonderful things there. Probably the most memorable is that I had a chance to baptize Marcy in the real Jordan River. That was awesome. The next one is her after the baptism walking out. That was a very special experience for our entire family. One of our places we liked was Caesarea. Caesarea had been built in 8 years by King Herod the Great. It was, there were a lot of ruins and everything was pretty much the size of where kids could climb and have a lot of fun. Also, Caesarea is right by the Mediterranean Sea. This is Marcy rinsing off after being out in the Mediterranean right there. This is Gethsemane, a very sacred place. We had a lot of fun in what's called Hezekiah's Tunnel. He built this tunnel to get water into the city. So even if the city was attacked, he'd have water there, and it was a really interesting thing to go inside Hezekiah's tunnel. The whole family enjoyed it. This is the Western Wall, or the Wailing Wall. This is where Jews come to put prayers in the wall. This was on the Temple Mount. The kids were up there. This is one of the things up there. This is a souk, or a market where the kids shop for different things. This is what the boys do. They climbed up on walls and had fun. Again, this one I believe is on Masada. Masada was right by the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea has mud that's supposed to have curative properties, and so this is Mike covered with that mud, and these are the other kids covered with that mud. It was a lot of fun for them. One of the neat things that we did is we rode camels in Giza nearby the pyramids. And you'll see several photos here of that. Here's one that's standing right in front of the pyramid. You see Maxine and Marcy, the driver, and the pyramids. Here's another one here where we're out and moving along with the camels. At one point, they weren't going to let Marcy and Maxine down. They asked for more money, but the driver we had talked them out of it. This is in Cairo, out in front of the Cairo Museum. What an awesome place. One half of one floor is dedicated to King Tut. We got to see a lot of his things. It was amazing. I believe this is by the temples of Upper Egypt, but I'm not 100% sure. And this is also up in that area. But we had a wonderful time in Egypt. See another photo like this of Jen with the Dead Sea mud all over her face. This is the Temple of Luxor in Upper Egypt. This gives you an idea how big these are. Now this is actually when we were in Bali, and look at the rice terraces going down from the volcano. This is the famous Great Wall of China. This is the Temple of Heaven in Beijing, and there's so many other things to see there. This is Prince Edward Island, one of the maritime provinces, and then we had the opportunity to go out on the Gaspé Peninsula to a place called Percé. The Percé means pierced. That's the hole in the rock, big hole, big rock. We then eventually ended up in Quebec City after going around, and then we on another trip we went to Niagara Falls. Awesome. We went on a cruise and we saw beluga whale. They're awesome. This is when I went with the boys down to the Florida Keys. And then we took a trip down to be with Mike to get him from his mission in Argentina. As you can see, it was a big day for baptisms there. It was really awesome to be there with Mike. We went on to the Alto Plano, the high country along the Andes, and these are some of the cacti that you see there. Then we went to our trip to Africa to pick up Mark from Durban, South Africa. We saw wild dogs, which are endangered species. We were lucky to see them. We saw giraffes plenty in lots of places. We also saw zebras and, of course, a lot of other animals. While we were there, in Switzerland, went up Pilatus, just outside of Bern. What a great thing. This shows all the things that we did in Chesapeake Bay. Chesapeake Bay is an awesome place. Next, we went to pick up Marcy in Taiwan. That was amazing. Another one was when Maxine and I took a cruise with the Chappellis. That was really neat. This is us flying up one of the fjords from the sea, and we landed in a high altitude lake. While after the cruise, we went and visited Art and Margaret. You see the duck there and the beam. You can figure it out yourself. Maxine got a 35-pound king salmon while we were there. We have done an awful lot of fun things with our Razor. Amazing. One is the ability to drive to this lookout at Bryce Canyon in the National Forest, just beside the other place, and we have it to ourselves. Then we went back to Africa again. This was an amazing story of seeing elephants there. We stayed in 2 of the camps in Kruger National Park. This is one of them. Then we stayed in a private preserve in these luxurious tents. This is the inside of the tent. It was awesome, big, not like what you would expect for a tent. This is how you open the windows. Oh no, this is the bathroom. Sorry, in the tent, in a separate area of the tent. And this is how you open the windows in these nice tents. It was amazing while we were there. Swaziland was a great place, just beside South Africa. We saw these dancers there. In the private reserve we were at, we saw the Cheetah Brothers, and that was awesome. They're always together, they hunt together and do everything together. One of them jumped up in a tree at this point. They don't have claws like regular cats. They don't have reticulated claws. This was a baby zebra right by where we had our tents in the private reserve. That was cool. We also went to another park and we saw this juvenile giraffe, and you can see when they put their head down, they're within reach. This was a rhino rubbing itself on a post. We saw a whole bunch of rhino there. That was awesome. We saw this a lion with a thing on its neck, and it made it itch, so it scratched it. We did see, not this one, but we did see lionesses along the side of the road. They just popped down and they're pretty relaxed. When we left, we went across the Crocodile Bridge, which was flooded, so we had to drive across that bridge not knowing what we were doing. This was in Sonoma County, which just recently got burned, and this was a trip up in a balloon. This is a view from the balloon. It was amazing. We saw so many wonderful things on that, and it was on our bucket list. This is the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. We went to Kauai on this trip. This is another view from in that trip, and another one at sunset time. One of the fun things that we did on Kauai is we rented a red Mustang and drove around. One lady came up to me once and "You look awfully good in that Mustang." It was kind of fun. Then we went up near the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. In that trip, you got up pretty high there. And there's another view of the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. What an amazing thing. This is the resort we stayed at, me just sitting out on the porch. That was, it was so nice to have a little rest every once in a while. We did a doors off helicopter ride, the highlight, one of the best tours in the world. Holy cow. And we did get up to the where the volcano was, and look at all the waterfalls coming down. You'll never see that. This is Napali Coast in Kauai from a boat looking at the coastline. Amazing. We took a 3,000-mile trip into southwestern United States. This is Camelback Mountain in Phoenix. That's one of the places we went. In Arizona, where some of Maxine's ancestors came from. We also went to Carlsbad Cavern, which you cannot describe adequately in words. It's amazing. We stopped by in Santa Fe, New Mexico. This is the governor's palace there, which was awesome. And then we also went to Mesa Verde. This is one of the sites you can see there. Really amazing. We almost went Glacier National Park, but that would have been a mistake. What a great place. We did see this young bear up there along the roadside, and we saw some amazing scenery. The mountains there are just incredible. This road goes up to Logan Pass. On the other side of Logan Pass, Maxine looked really close at this bear grass. I guess the bears like this. We then went to Calgary. We went to the last day of the Calgary Stampede, and one of the things we saw was barrel racing. That was so cool. Then we went on up to Banff, which is, again, just a continuation of Glacier, in my opinion, and then Lake Louise, which is nearby Banff. And then we went up something called the Icefield Parkway, which just keeps going up along those mountains, and you get bigger and bigger glaciers as you go up there. These are old pictures of Mom and Dad. Turns out we stayed at the same lodge in Jasper that they did. It said Jasper Lodge right by a lake. And these are pictures of Mom and Dad when they were young. We don't know exactly when they went there, but it was kind of cool to be in the same place, the same lodge that they were in so many years ago.